Instead of an EV pickup, Ford has brought us this, the Ranger PHEV. Perhaps it's a better solution. Let's find out. My name's Jonathan Crouch. I've been testing cars for over 40 years. You'll find them all on the Car and Driving Car Review app. Here, I'm going to try and tell you everything that you really need to know about this pickup in a way that you'll find nowhere else. Let me hand you over to our presenter, Steve.
You didn't really want an EV pickup, did you? No, this is better. Ford's Ranger PHEV. And here, we're going to take a closer look. Given how nasty the taxman's been to pickup owners in recent times, if you drive one, you might well be looking for the running cost savings of an electric model, but your choices in that regard are limited. There is the pricey Isuzu D-Max EV and two models from Chinese maker Maxus, the T90 EV and the eTerron 9. Otherwise, there's only the ineffectually electrified mild hybrid Toyota Hilux 48 volt and this model, the Ford Ranger PHEV. As the name suggests, this Ranger is a plug-in hybrid. Ford actually sells a full EV pickup in the US, the F-150 Lightning, but that model wouldn't suit the European market in the way that the Ranger PHEV definitely does. There's commuting EV range, the ability to act as an off-grid generator, and more torque than any other model in the Ranger lineup, plus tax-beating efficiency stats. Interested yet? Well, you can find out more about this kind of pickup if you download the Car and Driving Reviews app. And if your interest is specifically in this Ranger PHEV, then stay with us because this is the industry's most comprehensive review, the Car and Driving Road Test. Most plug-in hybrids are chosen for two reasons: length of EV drive range and tax efficiency. Those attributes will be ownership draws for this Ranger PHEV too, but not the primary ones. So why might you choose one? Well, for a start, this pluggable Ford has an impressive 697 Newton meters of torque. That's more than any other Ranger, even the Ranger Raptor. That makes it an even better towing tool than the standard diesel version, which of course it shares its 3.5 ton brake towing weight with. Buyers will also be attracted by the Ford Pro Power onboard options that will allow the 11.8 kilowatt hour drive battery to power all manner of worksite devices. So that battery isn't just there for the drivetrain, which sees the lithium ion cells energizing a 75 kilowatt electric motor paired with a 2.3 litre 4-cylinder EcoBoost turbo petrol engine, a unit we have previously seen in Ford's Focus RS and in the Mustang model, but never in one of the company's LCVs. Total output is 281 PS, 62 miles an hour, takes 9.2 seconds, half a second faster than the biggest diesel unit. The irrelevant top speed is 105 miles an hour and EV range is 25.5 miles. Don't expect that plump output figure, second only to the Ranger Raptor, to translate into sterling performance. All the PHEV hardware is inevitably heavy, and the 2,450 kilo curb weight translates into a gross vehicle weight of 3,500 kilos, 300 kilos more than the diesel version. Thanks to all that extra bulk, Ford's had to retune the suspension quite successfully because it seems this plug-in variant's ride isn't noticeably worse than any other version in the lineup. At speed through the bends, a regular Ranger driver might notice this PHEV model's extra weight, but there's not much difference in terms of body roll. The petrol engine is smooth and responsive, working with a 10-speed automatic gearbox, and it all works pretty smoothly with no real shunt between the drive sources. Refinement is pretty good too, and that's aided by active noise cancellation, and this suppresses intrusions from the engine whenever it does cut in. There's a more urgent feel away from rest than you'd normally get with a Ranger, and that's thanks to the way that the electric motor delivers instant responses while the engine gets up to speed. As you'd expect, there are various drive settings for you to get to grips with. Let's start with the EV drive modes, activated by pressing this EV button down between the seats. Ford's modular hybrid transmission switches between petrol, hybrid and electric power according to the mode selected. Mostly you'll just of course leave this Ranger in EV Auto, and that will manage your EV or combustion power for you, and default to the battery incidentally whenever possible. EV Now provides all electric driving if there's battery charge for it. EV Later stores battery charge for later in the trip, and EV Charge rather inefficiently uses the engine to charge up the high voltage battery. Off-road, this PHEV Ranger is as good as any other variant in the lineup, and better in some ways because the powertrain's prodigious torque propels this pickup easily up steep inclines, while extra motor braking from the regenerative charging system helps to maximize the benefit of the integrated hill descent control setup. As you'd expect, this plug-in hybrid variant gets the more advanced of the two all-wheel drive Ranger packages, Ford's full-time four-wheel drive system with its incorporated terrain management system. This is activated by a rotary dial which lets you shift between normal, eco and sport for ordinary roads, tow haul when you're towing something, slippery for loose surfaces, and mud ruts or sand for more rugged off-roading. In the centre of the dial are the main drivetrain buttons, 2H for two-wheel drive tarmac use, then the 4x4 settings, 4H low range 4L, and the set and forget 4A auto four-wheel drive setting. There is also a selectable rear differential lock for really challenging conditions. On particularly steep slopes, you might worry a bit about scraping the exhaust. It looks a bit low and it points down to the ground behind the rear axle. But otherwise, we really can't see too many off-road limitations here. The rear frame rails have been revised to house the traction battery, and thanks to that, this Ranger PHEV can offer the same class-leading 800mm wading depth as your more conventional models in the lineup. From the outside, the Ranger PHEV looks exactly the same as the standard model, apart from a PHEV badge on each front wing and the fact that there are two filler flaps on the near side rear wing. The one with the lightning bolt on it here is the charge point for the drive battery. The other flap just ahead of it is for the fuel filler, and you release that via a dashboard button. Like 99% of all other Rangers, this one comes only in double cab form, and it's a pretty substantial thing, 5,350mm in length, with pronounced wheel arches which house substantial 17-inch, or as in this case 18-inch wheels. Out in the wilds, if you were going to stick a tent on the roof and plug yourself into the Pro Power onboard system, you'd be ready for just about anything that the wilds could throw at you. At the front, there's a bluff American vibe which customers seem to like, with styling cues borrowed from the brand's US market Bronco SUV and the F-150 large pickup, and bulk quite intimidating enough to frighten away fast lane dawdlers. This shiny honeycomb grille is specific to this Stormtrack PHEV launch model, and as usual with the Ranger of this generation, this appendage features a horizontal bar emblazoned with the Ford badge extending into the eye-catching C-clamp daytime running lights. At the rear, you can have the LED tail lamps fitted here, and as usual with the Ranger, the tailgate design has the Ranger name embossed into the metal. Almost all owners will want the tow bar that's been fitted here. Let's have a look inside. Well, you have to look very closely indeed to spot any differences with this PHEV variant. There is a battery indicator to the right side of the instrument screen, above a lower readout showing your combination of fuel and EV range. And the same display has a selectable electric economy screen, plus a central Sync 4 monitor has a dedicated charging section. Otherwise, the only real cabin difference is the EV button just below the electronic handbrake there. These things apart, it's just as in any other Ranger, which means you sit high and commandingly on wide, comfortable seats with the usual short throw E-shifter gear stick and the same curious interior door handles located on the inside of the grab handles. Don't get too carried away by the look of all the fancy embellishment on this Storm Track trimmed launch version, but even base spec variants do seem quite nicely put together by the South African factory. All the stuff that you regularly touch, like the steering wheel and also the center console, they seem of pretty high quality. And on this plusher model, there are a few pleasing design touches, like these little A-pillar B&O speakers and small splashes of contrast colouring around the cabin. There's an instrument display of just 8 inches, even with this fanciest level of spec. Ford doesn't treat Ranger PHEV customers to the larger 12.4-inch driver's screen. It's all clearly laid out, though, and quite configurable. But the brand does standardise the larger 12-inch version of the Sync 4 central screen for this plug-in hybrid model. It's actually not quite as large as it seems, because quite a significant proportion of this screen is taken up by permanently displaying climate controls. Fortunately, these are backed up by physical ventilation controls beneath the screen for temperature and fan speed, which also allow you to adjust the audio volume. It's a much more user-friendly solution than trying to fish about for virtual screen buttons. This monitor features over-the-air updates, voice control and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring. As for storage space, well, there are 2 glove boxes. The lower one's lockable and spacious, and above it is a narrow-lipped storage tray that's slanted down and has a non-slip gripping material at its base so things don't slide out. The upper glove box is just above that tray, and here in the corner of the dash is a pop-out spring-loaded cup holder, which is strategically positioned just below this vent so it can heat or cool your drink. That's very neat. There is a large lidded center console bin to stash things in. It has a 12-volt socket inside. The door pockets are pretty small and narrow. There are cup holders next to the gear selector, and you're evidently supposed to stash your phone in the stowage area down here at the base of the center stack, because a wireless phone charger can feature here, and both USB-A and USB-C ports reside just above. There is also a high-mounted USB located alongside the auto-dimming rearview mirror. Ticket clips and the sun visors have been forgotten, but there is an overhead sunglasses compartment. Right. Time to take a look in the rear, at which point, if you've got a plusher Ranger with these side steps and you've been in the mud, you'll probably find your trouser legs or your skirts being decorated with grime as you brush against the step panel getting out. Inside, it is relatively tight on legroom, but you'll be better off in this respect than with most rivals. It isn't saying a lot though. Central air vents are included, as is a fold down armrest with cup holders. Isofix child seat fastenings are included for the 2 outer seating positions. In plusher models like this one, both USB-A and C charge points again feature. There are 2 coat hooks back here behind your head, and for spirited off-roading you'll need the provided grab handles, one above each door aperture and one on each B-pillar. As usual with pickups, when you're not using this rear bench, you can lift up the base to access 2 further storage compartments. Tools are provided beneath the base too, and if you want to take packages inside the cab, then you can fold forward this seat backrest. At the time of this test in autumn 2025, prices for this Ranger PHEV, predictably only available in this double cab form, were starting at around £41,000 ex-VAT for the base XLT version. There's also a Wildtrak version at around £46,000, again ex-VAT, and at the time of this test, Ford was still selling this top Storm Track version at around £51,000 ex-VAT. For the Wildtrak version most will want, you're looking at a premium of just over £2,500 over the conventional 2-litre Eco Blue 205 PS diesel auto model. Briefing you on rivals is easy because at the time of this test there weren't any other PHEV pickups available in the UK, which is strange because you would think that there would also be a plug-in hybrid version of this Ford's almost identically engineered development clone, which is the Volkswagen Amarok. Now, your other plug-in pickup options are full EVs. As we filmed, there were 3 four-wheel drive EV pickups available in our market. The Maxus eTerron 9 at around £53,000 ex-VAT, the KGM Musso EV and the Isuzu D-Max EV at around £60,000, again ex-VAT. But none of these options are much likely to appeal to a pickup customer who doesn't want to be restricted by the range anxiety of a full EV. So let's take a closer look at the standard kit you'll get if you were going to go for a Ranger PHEV. Base XLT spec gives you most of what you really need. Specifically, that means 17-inch alloy wheels, a terrain management system with a push-button selector for different drive modes, a quick clear heated windscreen, LED rear lights, power folding mirrors, front fog lamps and a tailgate with a power lock. Also included are adaptive cruise control, rear parking sensors, an alarm and all-round mud flaps. Inside with XLT spec, there's an instrument cluster with an 8-inch TFT LCD display and an electrochromic rearview mirror with a USB charging port. Infotainment is taken care of by a big 12-inch Sync 4 central screen with voice control, a 6-speaker audio system and Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, smartphone mirroring. There is also the Ford Pass Pro app via which you can preheat or pre-cool the cabin before you get into it. You can locate the vehicle if you've lent it out. You can be advised if a thief is accessing the vehicle and make online service bookings and remotely lock or unlock the car from your smartphone. Most customers for this model though will want to stretch at least up to mid-level Wild Track spec. That makes far more of a statement of the builder's yard. There's Wild Track 18-inch alloy wheels, a rear sports hoop, roof rails, LED headlights with signature graphic LED daytime running lights, LED front fog lights too, power folding mirrors with puddle lamps, keyless entry, rear privacy glass and accent colouring for the grille, the wheel arch mouldings and the front bumper. There's also intelligent adaptive cruise control and a slicker rotary dial operated version of the driving mode terrain management system. And at this level of the range too, Ford also includes underbody protection, which gives you a front bumper skid plate and also an engine and transfer case shield. Plus there's a 360-degree 4-zone exterior lighting system which allows you to illuminate all the vehicle's lights at once. The front dipped headlights, the puddle lights, the load box light and the license plate lights, which is ideal for avoiding trip hazards at night or if you just need the area you've parked in to be lit up to help you put away tools or perhaps repair a tyre. Inside with Wild Track spec, the Sync 4 screen is 12 inches in size to run the standard connected satellite navigation system. There's part leather seat trim too, a powered 10-way adjustable driver's seat, vinyl wrapping for the dashboard, LED ambient lighting. There's also a leather trimmed heated steering wheel, heated seats, a wireless charging mat and premium air vents with precision grey bezels. Beyond that, there's only this top spec PHEV only Stormtrack launch model, which comes in 2 colours, either agate black or this chili grey paint finish. And it gets roof rails, black matte side steps, an adjustable sports bar, matrix LED headlights, a unique honeycomb front grille, a flexible rack system, and these unique 18-inch matte black alloy wheels. Inside the Stormtrack branded cabin, there's micro rib, embossed black leather upholstery, an ebony headliner, a 360-degree camera setup, a premium 10-speaker B&O audio system, and electronic dual-zone climate control. As standard, this Storm Track version also gets the 2.3 kilowatt version of a key option you'd pay extra for with the other two Ranger PHEV trim levels, Ford's Pro Power onboard system. Basically what this is a mobile power source when you're out and about, so you can leave the generator behind and free up some load space. The standard 2.3 kilowatt 10 amp system we have fitted here with its twin load bay sockets and single cabin socket lets you recharge batteries and power most electric hand tools. If you need more, you can pay extra on all Ranger PHEVs to get a 6.9 kilowatt 16 amp Pro Power onboard option that gives you a bit more kick. It's capable of powering a host of heavier gear, from grinding tools and air conditioning units to camping stoves and EV dirt bikes. Whatever kind of Ranger PHEV you choose, as usual with a pickup, you can really go to town with the extra cost features, even with a top spec trim model like this one. Most customers want the useful cargo area management system we have here, which gives you greater choice when you're tying down your load. And of course, there are all the usual hard top and load bay accessory options. Here we've got a powered roller shutter fitted. What about Ranger standard safety kit? Well, all versions get pre-collision assist autonomous braking, which combines front camera and grille mounted radar and includes dynamic brake support, forward collision warning, active braking, distance alert 2 and evasive steering assist. There's also a lane keeping system, which includes lane keeping alert, a lane keeping aid and road departure warning. All Rangers get traffic sign recognition too, and a post-collision braking system, which if you hit something will hopefully stop you from going on and hitting something else. More is added in terms of camera safety kit as you progress up the range, but if your chosen trim level doesn't have the feature that you want, then you can choose from a range of optional technology packs to provide it. Here on this test model, for example, we have the Technology Package 93, which to the features I already mentioned adds reverse brake assist. Now this will intervene to stop you from hitting things at low speeds, and auto high headlamp, which dips your headlights for you at night. Also front parking sensors, a 360-degree camera, a tow hitch with a 13-pin socket and a blind spot monitor designed to work with a trailer, and that alerts you if you're just about to pull dangerously out into the path of another vehicle. What about standard passive safety features across the range? Let's finish with that. There are lots of airbags, driver and front passenger bags, side and curtain bags, and a driver's knee booster bag. Plus, for this Mark IV Ranger model, Ford's added a clever far side airbag, which is there to stop the front seat driver and passenger being thrown together in an accident. If any airbag inflates, there's an e-call system which automatically contacts the emergency services and also provides your Ranger's GPS location, even if your mobile phone hasn't been connected to the vehicle. As you'd expect, also you get the usual electronic system for stability and traction control and braking, of course. This is aided by an electronic brake boost feature. This is designed to reduce the amount of pedal pressure which is required for braking. The electric brake booster for this uses a sensor located in the brake pedal to read your actions and adjusts to suit your driving style in the moment. What else? Well, there's load adaptive control, hill descent control, hill start assist, trailer sway control and rollover mitigation, plus emergency brake lights which illuminate in panic stops. There are, of course, ISOFIX rear seat child seat fastenings too, and even a breakdown warning triangle comes included. This Ranger got a 5-star rating from Euro NCAP with an 84% score for adult occupant protection and safety assistance technology and a 90% score in the child occupant protection category. There are a few practicality compromises with this PHEV model, although the low bed floor does have a raised 20mm power bulge to make room for the high voltage battery. So that does slightly affect cargo volume, although not to a huge extent. Otherwise though, a Ranger PHEV can take pretty much what an ordinary Ranger can. Once you've dropped the easy lift tailgate, that means you'll access a cargo area that's able to accommodate a full-sized pallet, and you can load in a ply sheet flat. There are slots molded into the bed here which allow you to make your own load dividers, and Ford continues to offer its cargo management system. Removable protective capping prevents excess damage to the tailgate when you're lifting bikes in and out, and a cargo light makes it easier to see what's in the back. This top Storm Track spec model also includes the brand's flexible rack system for its load bed too. The load box length is 1564 millimeters, and there's 1560 mils of load box width, narrowing to 1224 between the wheel arches, and there's also 511 millimeters of load box height. There's usual Ranger 1-ton payload capacity, so this Ford still qualifies for VAT exemption, and a 3,500 kilo towing capacity. This movable sports bar here is designed to try to solve the problem of carrying longer items. On to running cost issues, which of course will be hugely affected by how often you're able to keep the battery cells topped up. Now, charging is restricted to an AC supply, via which you'll need 4 hours to fully replenish the chunky 11.8 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery pack. The central screen there has a charging section with a battery graphic, and also the option to set departure and comfort, climate system activation times, and also to search for local charging stations. If there's nowhere to plug in, then you can gather some meaningful charge on the move via the powertrain's provided EV charge mode, which rather inefficiently replenishes the battery using the engine. The combined cycle fuel economy is quoted at 94.2 mpg. In reality, you'll probably get similar fuel economy to the diesel, and it'll be more like 30 mpg once the PHEV battery is flat. You should though get some decent range from the 70-litre fuel tank. The quoted 25.5 mile EV range is a bit difficult to achieve. We've been getting about 21 miles on this test. CO2 emissions are quoted at up to 71 grams per kilometre, and that should really sell you this model if you're worried about the way that these days pickups are benefit in kind taxed based on their emissions. A conventionally engined Ranger, like just about any other combustion pickup, is BIK rated at up to 37%, which for top rate earners means annual tax bills of up to £7,000. At the time of this test, with this PHEV model, that figure would be slashed to £4,600 a year. The Ranger PHEV benefits from a flat rate annual road tax thanks to its light goods vehicle status for vehicle excise duty, and VAT registered businesses also benefit from reclaiming 100% of the purchase VAT, as well as tax deductions over time for capital allowances of around 6% per year. In our market section, we mentioned the optional Ford Pro Power On-Board system, which provides the ability for this Ranger to act as an off-grid generator to power work tools. It offers a choice of 2 different power outputs, 2.3 kilowatts, which is what we have here, or 6.9 kilowatts. Now, as part of this system, this pickup has 3 power outlets, 2 here in the load box and 1 in the cabin. With the 6.9 kilowatt version of this package, up to 3.5 kilowatts can be drawn from a single load box socket, or the full 6.9 kilowatts across both load box sockets. Cabin socket output is a maximum of 2.3 kilowatts. What else? Well, you will still have to pay to enter city clean air zones like the London congestion zone with this pickup, but it's eligible to travel into London's ultra-low emission zone. Service intervals are every 2 years or 12,500 miles, whichever comes first. And as usual, there's the unremarkable 3-year, 60,000 mile Ford warranty. If you're concerned about the lack of EV choice in the pickup sector, maybe there's no need to be. Perhaps what an efficient light pickup actually requires is what this PHEV Ranger provides, namely everything you'll need from an electrified powertrain, so loads of torque, EV commuting range and tax breaks, and nothing you don't. Limited driving range, overly heavyweight and inflated asking prices. If you're a pickup regular, you're probably questioning whether a petrol plug-in hybrid powertrain can really deliver in tough conditions in the same way a diesel can. But try this Ranger PHEV and you'll find it has most of the answers that you're looking for. So it turns out that the EV pickup you might actually want isn't actually an EV, but it is as much of one as you probably ever need it to be.